Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to week number 6 of Fractured Orders. I'm glad you all could be here today. It's going to be a fun, exciting day of Star Wars with the wonderful Fantasy Flight game system. With the help of my glorious players, all of which should be here today. Oh, yes, everybody's there. Look at that. Fantastic. So without further ado, let me go ahead and turn on Discord and see how their weeks have been while I continue to eat my food, because I'm unprofessional as hell.
Quote-unquote friends investing in Africa, just reinforcing the colonialism aspect.
We're speaking about politics.
Yeah, why is it always politics?
Because Trump and Nambia.
Like, there's literally thousands of other things to talk about.
Well, I asked did Trump do anything stupid this time, and they told me that he called Namibia Nambia, and I was like, seriously? And then they also mentioned about his rich friends. I was like, I don't fucking care about some Middle East pricks. Well, I kind of do, but at least, I don't know. Never mind. Let's drop the subject.
Fantastic. Well, this is the part of the show where I ask everybody how their 2 weeks have been, because we skipped last week, because I was feeling like death. And while you all talk, I'm going to continue to eat my food. So, Endless, why don't you tell us about your couple of weeks, how everything's been with you?
Well, I moved to the UK. I currently have a server-free week because it's welcome week for everyone that's starting their first year, or freshers, I guess. Since there's a welcome type slasher fair week thing where the societies kind of like gather around the university and just stand at stalls and just have people join their specific societies, I actually volunteered to help out at one of the stalls for 2 hours because I had nothing better to do. It's like, you know what, why not? I'm gonna help out. It was actually pretty fun. I mean, and fun in the sense like I wasn't that scared of people, and I mean, I thought that I was gonna be reluctant or just like stammer when trying to explain like what the society I was a part of was about, but turns out I explained it pretty great. And there was a large sum of people that actually joined.
Oh, fantastic. Good
Yeah.
job, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Next week I'll have to start university. I have to start the horrors of goddamn studying all over again.
Fantastic.
At least I have this week before my inevitable doom.
Indeed.
Which is going to be only like this night and 3 more days.
Fantastic. Kai, what about you? What have you been doing for the past 2 weeks?
There's been speaking of politics, there's been an election in Norway, but
Congratulations.
pretty much same as before. So been
Awesome.
kind of
Or
uneventful. Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Not much else. We've been going to a few amusement parks with the kids, stuff like that.
You may or may not know this, but I work for an amusement park currently.
Ah,
Can you explain to me the layout of whatever amusement park you have gone to? Like what entails a day at the amusement park in Norway?
Well, it's a small park. So it's in Norway, so it's just called the King's Park. It used to be like this huge park based on Gulliver's Travels.
That's cool.
It was pretty cool, but now it's just been changed to a generic, water sleds and roller coasters. But it's I'm not sure how to explain the layout compared to some of the bigger parks. It's just a really, really small park.
Yeah, but like so my question is like, if this were the game Theme Park Tycoon,
yeah,
and like you walk in, like you obviously pay for a ticket to go in, and then you don't like it's not like a fair, right? You don't pay to get on rides as well.
No, correct. You
Okay.
pay to get in, and
Got
then yeah,
Okay.
and then they try to get you to buy
Right.
a lot
The
of
food,
stuff inside.
the food and
yeah.
merchandise is all jacked up on prices, right?
Yeah, and we went on like a half off offer because of the bank we're members of had an offering,
Oh,
and
nice.
apparently everyone that we know and half the city was there on the same day. So the lines were huge. Yeah, it's a fun day, nevertheless.
Well, that's fantastic. So as far as characters are concerned, is there like a themed character that shows up?
Yeah, there's this girl and boy bear.
Okay.
Yeah, and they walk around just being big teddy bears.
Awesome. Just take pictures and hug
Yeah.
children. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's fascinating to me. Mulan, hello.
Wagwan, how's it going? If that's what
Tell
you're
us-
asking me, isn't it?
That is what you have said you want you to go by, so if you don't respond to it, then it is your own fault.
No, things are good. Not really anything. I think we played since I've been to Chicago.
Yes.
Seems like it was.
You had
very
just
recent.
returned
Yeah.
from Chicago.
Yeah. No, everything is pretty much just the same as always. Signed some new jobs, so that's good because I'm self-employed. So getting a bit more business set up is always wonderful. But other than that, same old.
And playing Divinity.
Yeah, Divinity. Okay, well, I don't want to talk all. I want to play some Star Wars. I don't want to talk all day. It's so good though. It's so good.
Pretty good. Pretty good game.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're really enjoying it. It's not enough hours in the day, I'm afraid.
I agree. I agree with that assessment. Toasty, hello. I hear you're feeling a bit under the weather today. Is that true?
Yep.
Can you hear us all right?
Mostly.
Okay, good.
I can pick up most of the conversation.
Okay.
I'm gonna try my best.
I will try not to inundate Mouse with too many things today. Then we'll have Mouse do her things. Perhaps
Also, probably a great idea because I'm also having a problem getting Roll20 to load.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Are you? What web browser are you using?
Firefox today.
Okay, you should try Chrome because I know that sometimes when they make updates to Roll20, it doesn't push through for all of the browsers. If you have Chrome, obviously. If you don't, then that's... you may have to try like compatibility mode or something like that. Roll20, it doesn't play nicely with updates and various browsers from my experience.
Yeah.
But anyway, have you done anything the past couple of weeks that's notable and exciting?
Let's see. I got into... Well, it rained in California. Well, not all of California, but Northern California.
Is that a notable enough thing to...
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Good.
We were in a drought a couple of years ago, apparently. The rain, when it rains, the roads get really, really oily because it doesn't rain that much.
Right.
And I actually got it. I've been spending the last 2 weeks trying to get my car fixed.
Okay. I don't know if you cut out for anybody else, but you definitely cut out for me. And it was
did I cut out? I'm sorry.
It was like I got.
Oh,
and I've been spending the last 2. Okay, so you got
I got into a car accident as a result, and I ended up having to spend the last 2 weeks trying to fix my car. So I've been without a car for 2 weeks. It's just been pretty fun.
You were all right though, health wise.
Oh yeah,
fine.
no, I just hurt my wrist. But other than that, I'm fine.
Okay, that's more important, obviously.
Yeah, no one got really hurt. In fact, there was no other car involved. It was actually just me and a curb.
Oh well, then okay, I see. That's probably for the best, though. To be fair.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like I wasn't going exceedingly fast or anything. It just the road was like ice, essentially.
Right. Oh, interesting. Z, hello.
Hello.
Tell us how you have been for the past 2 weeks.
My classes just started this week, so doing those.
Hooray.
Played through War of the Chosen.
Oh yeah, XCOM. How was that?
I think I like XCOM 1 more.
Really?
XCOM, so like XCOM Enemy Within, Enemy Unknown? Or
Yeah.
okay.
And the enemy within Enemy Unknown combined. Like, I don't know. It seems like there really should have been like a follow-up campaign, especially with the ending cinematics.
Sure.
So I really liked the characters. Since I never played XCOM 2 originally, I liked the Star Trek characters being all there. So that was fun.
I feel
Except
like
for the
this
Reaper faction sucks.
Yeah, I feel like this expansion made XCOM into a little bit more of like a story-based game as opposed to a purely tactics game, because
Yeah, it definitely tried to add like a story.
the first XCOM is like literally just it's a tactics game. Like there's nothing like save the world from aliens go, right? Like there's not really a whole lot of story there. But in XCOM 2 and then especially in War of the Chosen, from what I've seen, because I haven't actually played it yet, I've just watched some of it. They definitely try to add like a story.
I don't want to try and spoil anything, but I really liked two factions, the Templars and the Skirmishers. I hated the Reapers because I could not get that faction to work properly.
Sure.
It didn't seem like they were very effective compared to the others. Let's see. I've been continuing a playthrough of Divinity Original Sin 1 with a buddy of mine, with the XC Encounter mod.
Oh yeah, the Epic Encounters mod.
So good.
It's so good.
He started off playing like a battle mage character, and I'm like, this is kind of an interesting idea. I don't think it's gonna work out. And he finally kind of got fed up and retooled it to be a pure like tank build, and he's having a lot more fun, and it's just hilarious. And I started Divinity Original Sin 2 with my girlfriend, so I've been doing that, and that's pretty much it. Oh no, my condo is completely torn up because they're redoing pipes.
Oh, fantastic!
So that's fun.
Do you at least have running water?
I do, though they're scheduled to switch that off tomorrow and try and do absolutely everything tomorrow.
That's exactly what happened in my apartment complex. They're like, hey, we're going to repipe everything. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm like, we're going to cut a bunch of holes in your walls, and then we're going to leave them there for a couple weeks until we can get the guys over here to do it. And they're going to do everything in one day. So, good luck. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, fantastic. For me, I survived a hurricane. That was thing number one that I did.
Well done.
Thank you. It was funniest thing probably that happened before the hurricane is Mulan sent me a message like, hey, are we playing today? And my response was literally a picture of the hurricane bearing down upon me.
Now that was Olympus. That was
was it Olympus? I thought it was also...
you just responded with a picture of this is my location and this is the center of the hurricane on top of my location. I was like, you know what, that's fair.
Yeah. So
I respect that.
Good reason not to be doing that. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, I survived that. It's just a hurricane, man. Everybody gets really crazy about hurricanes, but I don't, because I've lived in Florida my entire life, so they don't even bother me anymore. But after that, that kind of put all of my games on delay for like a whole week. I didn't play any RPGs, which is very sad. But I did take some extra time off work to play Divinity Original Sin 2 24-hour stream with Megan, who's a player in my other two games.
Which was epic.
It was pretty epic. We could not have asked for a better ending to the 24-hour stream, and I think that's like really, really important when you do 24-hour streams, because a lot of times I feel like 24-hour streams are like, hey, we did it, okay, we're gonna go to sleep now, goodbye. But like for us, it was actually ended up being like almost a 25-hour stream, because we like got into the final battle of Act 1 like with like 30 minutes left on 24 hours, and it just lasted forever, and it was like really, really tense. And yeah, no, we're playing on Classic, so we're not even playing on Tactician, and I really feel like it's like the perfect difficulty. Like, if you make a mistake, you're punished for it, but you can recover. If you make 2 mistakes, you're dead, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the difficulty at classic level right now. It's very rare that I've seen such like a finely tuned game. You know, it's not Dark Souls where everything kills you, and it's not fucking Minecraft where you can kill everything with a block of dirt. Right? It's like it's somewhere. It's really, 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 really well done. I will say though, one disadvantage I found to the 24-hour stream that we did was I found myself zoning out on the story a little bit, not having time to kind of digest it as much, because for 24 hours it was just go 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 go. We got to do all this stuff. We got all these things to do. We got all these quests to do. Up until like the very end, when we did like the last 3 encounters, the one with the Blood Rose person in the cave, which was the first time in a very long time in video games that I have like had a physical reaction to something that has occurred in a video game, because I was the one she interacted with at the very beginning. And spoiler alert, if you haven't played the game yet, she does like some fucking like The Shining horror movie level craziness to you. And like I had like a physical like retching reaction because it's so gross. Megan experienced a similar reaction to an earlier fight with the torturer guy, because like he like one of the dialogues is he caresses your neck gently and says you have good skin, and she was like ugh, we gotta kill this guy right now, we're killing him right now, control click, I'm killing him right now. And I was like, okay, I guess we're fighting now. So that was amusing. But yeah, no, excellently, very well done game. I am so happy that it has been as successful as all the reviews for it are just astronomically high. It's already been like the highest selling CRPG ever, and in addition to that, it ranked number 4 for a while in concurrent players, right behind Dota 2 on Steam. And if you know anything about that, that's ridiculous, especially for a CRPG. So I'm really, really happy that it did so well, because that's just Steam, right? There's other ways that you could have gotten the game. So really, really happy about that.
I didn't know it was a CRPG. I thought
it's considered a classic RPG.
Oh, never mind. Something else. Never mind.
Yeah, isometric top down. You know, it falls in the Baldur's Gate, Pillars of Eternity type.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I was being an idiot.
Oh. And then
we had the exact same reaction to the Rose Lady. Like I was listening in on the conversation. I'm like, she's moving, and my friend was talking. I'm like, nope, don't like this. I'm backstabbing her.
Yeah.
Guys, I haven't played yet.
Yeah, I just started yesterday.
No more talking about that. I won't talk about it anymore. That's all I'm saying. And to be fair, just so you're aware, I haven't spoiled anything. It's like literally, it's actually something that is not even part of the main quest. You just kind of happen upon it, so it doesn't really spoil anything to know what you know now.
Well, going on what you said about how like sometimes you felt lost in the story, I find that happens with me with Divinity quite a lot. Whereas I have a broad understanding of the overall thing, but like things are happening at the same time, where it's like I don't know why we're doing this, but we're doing it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that does happen occasionally to me as well.
I played the beta, and I played a little bit of the main story when it came out for real, and there was that lady right at the start on the ship or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who's like mean to you.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, she was mean to me, I guess. And in the beta, you had the option to go back and slit her throat as like a dialogue option, and somehow they removed that.
Oh, really?
In the main game, yeah.
Wow.
I just alt clicked her, but it was still. I really wanted to just slit her throat.
Yeah,
I hate her.
Absolutely, yeah. She is like everything that is terrible about humanity.
The first lady you meet.
Yep.
And she's just everything that's terrible.
Yep. The very first person you ever meet in the game. So I did
Uh-huh.
as well get into the GM mode of Divinity Original Sin 2. As kind of like an impromptu, I wanted to see how it worked. Kind of wanted to do like some adventure design stuff. It's really good. I really, really like it. I can foresee creating a full-on adventure in that game and then distributing it or running people through it at some point. So
I would love to, create a personalized game through that. Is that plausible?
yeah,
For specific people.
yeah, no, that's what the GM mode is.
Cool.
It's complete. It gives you some like basic. So when you start off, you pick a map, like an overworld map, and they have the original Divinity one, but then they also have like a bunch of other like randomly generated maps that they've designed for you. And you can like put locations, and you have a little like character marker, kind of like the overlay map that you see right here, right? Like very similar to that. Like, this is the player marker is the ship, and then you can move it around just like you would on Roll20. And then you can just, and again, this is probably why I picked up on it so fast, is very similar to Roll20. You can like move everybody over to like an actual like map that then their characters like get dropped in, and they can go interact with the NPCs, and they can go walk around, move their characters around, and all use the mechanics of Divinity, right? Like that's the thing you have to buy into, is the fact that everything is Divinity, right? Like that's the world. But you can make up like completely your own story, and it's really, really easy to literally just like drop NPCs into the world for them to interact with. So it's really, really good. I like it a lot.
Do you have to write stuff ahead of time? Or...
So you do, but you don't have to. So for example, like I'm designing like this. I'm starting out like just designing this first little encounter, which is I wanted to go like as generic as possible. So it's everybody starts in a tavern, right? And I like have a bartender, and I have a dude playing piano, and I have some nobles sitting in the corner, and then like the whole center focus of the encounter is going to be, there's going to be like this lizard lady like painter, and she's going to be like making a painting, and there's going to be like these thugs that are like trying to hit on her, and then there's also a guardsman by the door, and she is going to like try and intervene, and then the party has to decide like, do we just let the thugs beat up on the bodyguard, or do we go help her, or whatever is going to happen after that. That's kind of the encounter as you see it. So like the stuff you have to do beforehand is you have to have that map and have those characters there. But as far as like writing or doing anything like that, no. You like when somebody goes up and interacts with a character, you would do just like we do right now, where you say what you're gonna say, I say what I'm gonna say, you say what you're gonna say. I might prompt you with a roll, because you can do that in the game, right? Like I can say, okay, roll me a d20 and use this statistic. And then you click a little button and it shows everybody on the screen like, hey, they rolled a 22 or whatever.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And so then you progress the conversation like that. So very, very similar to Tabletop. They really did a good job at keeping the roots there.
Neat.
Speaking of Tabletop.
Yeah.
Did you like how I segue that right into what we're going to be doing?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, right?
Well, now that you mentioned that you're segueing it, it's no longer a segue.
If ever I make a good segue, I always mention it just to ruin the moment. That's like literally the thing that I do. So I have good news and bad news. Who would like the good news?
I'd like the good news.
Bad news first? Okay. The bad news is, you guys are still technically prisoners. That's...
Oh no.
That's not bad news. That's
I
just
think we're
no news.
guests.
Yeah.
we're guests.
You are currently guests with quotation marks around it.
We have not tested the limits of our hospitality.
Yeah,
I
correct.
take it the fight didn't go well.
The good news, however, is obligation. Oh, that's right. You weren't even here, Mouse. Oh goodness. Okay.
Please recap the fight for me.
Well, the good news is that let me get to the good news first. There's no obligation triggered, so everyone has their full complement of strain.
Yes.
I rolled really, really high, so you guys are safe from that. So last time we played, we were in the middle of a very complicated and confusing fight between what was seemingly like two separate factions. One you identified as Janus Corporation, and the other one you identified as kind of like the enemy of Janus. So the group kind of made a conscious decision to side. Well, I should rephrase. A couple of members of the group made the conscious decision to side with Janus because those are the people you're trying to make happy. And decided to become embroiled in the kind of knockdown drag out that was occurring on the streets. And there was kind of, I think, 3 separate stories going on. Mouse, I'll start with yours first because it was probably the most epic. Apparently, you can only roll triumphs if you're not here.
I think you should just roll fine whether she's here or not.
Apparently, you can only roll triumphs ever. You sabotaged a door which trapped one of the guys in it and essentially took the other 2 out of the fight because they were trying to free their friend from it. You ran back around and you like hotwired the vehicle. But you also remained hidden the whole time and were able to like help a bunch of the civilians as well that were inside the hotel. That's kind of where you were hiding out.
Holy crap.
So yeah, you rolled a lot of really good things and did a lot of really cool stuff. Just simply based on what we talked about.
Man, I'm sad I missed it.
The second story is probably the most action oriented, where Jax and Kin were kind of taking on these droids, and then more specifically taking on this Rhodian who was wielding a vibro axe and kind of went toe to toe with Kin and basically chopped half of his head off.
Oh no!
Yeah. What was
got some work to do.
Yeah. What was the injury that you
from,
have?
From above the I think the right eye and down to across the torso. Pretty much a huge gash that's just been patched together with emergency repair patches.
Yeah, he's basically got like a pirate patch over his eye now. The specific injury that he has is called Compromise, which increases the difficulty of all of his skill checks by 1 until the enemy encounter. Technically, the encounter's over, but you still have to heal that critical, otherwise it will make other criticals much worse.
I see.
So essentially, your vision has compensated Kin at this point. You're not going to get that +1 difficulty, but any further injury without repair is going to be, a little bit stronger every time. So it's important to get that repaired. Now, so you did what you could in the initial, because remember you can only perform first aid once, and then the rest has to be done through actual repairing or healing. You actually can, if I recall correctly, you were literally at your threshold as far as wounds were concerned, right? Yeah, literally, if somebody had breathed on him wrong or he had stubbed his toe, he would have been unconscious.
Yeah.
So it was a very, very close fight for the 2 of them. Jax, I believe you're fine. You didn't take any damage.
I took a whole bunch of strain.
Yeah, because you were having to move around a lot and do a lot of extra actions and maneuvers and stuff.
Yeah, I shotgun lots of times.
Correct. And then the third story that was going on was Dash and Zian kind of dealing with this mysterious mechanic force user who was kind of pinned down inside of the garage and had his little squad of droids that he was enhancing with the force. Would be probably the closest thing that maybe you could relate it to. And the reason why it kind of pinged on Zian's radar is he didn't care what side of the force he was using. He also happened to roll dark side every time he used the force power. So Zian kept feeling this kind of this strain of darker energy coming from the garage and from this person. Turns out though he was mortally injured during in the final aftermath of the battle. However, Zian was with his skill as a healer was able to save him. And as the group kind of rejoined each other back at the back at the garage, the building shakes and the lights go out, and you hear the sound of like large like weapons level blaster fire going off outside. And then when like the dust settles, you see that there's like 4 squads of droids and this this woman who's standing outside, who's calling for the mechanic, clearly a friend of his, and it appears like more of these thugs, and they end up convincing the group of you to go with them quietly until they can figure out what to do with you and what your involvement with this whole situation was. So while that happened, in the interest of not wanting to create waves or, you know, get shot at in this tiny sardine can you all were enclosed in, you all went with them, and come to find out that they are called the Zul'Zan Alliance is the name of the group that they are. And essentially they're kind of like freedom fighters against the Janus Corporation.
You see.
But also drug dealers?
But also, right, also it's very clear that they don't use legal means to kind of fund their activities. So, you know, kind of a bit of a gray area there. However, after speaking with this woman, each individually, she agreed to essentially release you, or allow you not to be trapped in your rooms anymore, until they could coordinate some transportation back to the city for you. And so I think that before we do anything else, did I miss anything? Did anybody think of anything that's important that I missed?
No. We learned new things.
Great, good. So, I think that before we get into where we see everybody at first, I want to roll some Destiny. There it is.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
find it.
There it is.
Oh no.
Okay. So that's what?
Shit.
Two to 4. 2 to 4 here. So yeah, the dark side is a little bit stronger on this particular day than others.
Without knowing why, Jax blames CN.
Probably.
You haven't seen each other, damn it.
Yeah, we were in like a cantina,
Well, we're separated, so I don't know
No,
where
no,
they
no.
are.
We're back together.
cafeteria or something.
Oh, we
Yeah.
are? Oh.
So the first scene is basically the group of you like reuniting in like this common room area. There's a large like circular table. It looks like a conference room. There's like a large circular table in the middle with like chairs, and you can see like there's a big hollow screen that's there. And right now it's probably just displaying like advertisements. And you're kind of escorted in by these droid guards. These people use a lot of droids, whoever these Zul'Zan are. They use a fair amount of droids to do kind of their bidding. And you're escorted in and kind of reunited, and I assume there's like hey, you're still alive, great, awesome. And you guys are like given a moment to kind of rehash what happened. So what's that scene look like? Does anybody like say anything in particular? Like,
Yeah.
All
All right.
You go first.
All right, yeah. Kin will look at the other droids milling about, and then look at the group and say, "I'm sorry. I acted rashly. I hope no one got hurt on my account."
Jax will reassuringly look at Kin and say, "Don't worry, I'm pretty sure you did most of the hurting."
Yeah. Kin looks down at his body and looking at the huge gap and sparks still flying out, and nods.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
They took our weapons, and I got my pistol back.
Yeah, so they
Have
gave
they
you
given us the other stuff back or not?
They gave you your pistol back, and I think that probably as you're waiting in here, like they've collected you all in this room, and then they begin returning your items to you, right? Like somebody, like probably it's probably just like a, I don't know, a kid that looks maybe like 18 or 19.
Bring a bag of our shit or something.
Yeah, he brings like a crate in, and he's like flanked by 2 droids who have like their blaster rifles or whatever, and he like just sets it on the table, and he's like, well, I think these are your things.
Dash Stang says he reaches into the bag and just puts the gun in his holster as he sits down on the chair he decides to choose, and just folds his arms and just lays back as he just lazily looks at the advertisements.
Yeah, absolutely. What about everybody else? I assume you all like dig through the box and find your stuff, right?
Yeah, Dash. Jax grabs like all of his stuff and starts putting everything has its own like place where it goes. So he's doing it kind of systematically, everything going where it is.
I was about to say, since when do you control Dash?
And he kind of looks around. Everyone else is like, is everyone okay?
Hey, when can we leave?
Are you asking the party?
Yeah, I'm asking the 18-year-old kid.
Oh yeah. He probably just like looks, and he probably just like looks confused, and he's like, I don't know, and just like shrugs, and like turns with his droids to leave.
That guy was a lot of help.
Dash comments, that's not reassuring.
Zian is just kind of like looking around, kind of eyeing stuff, seeing what, if anything, looks out of place. And he kind of is like, I think we'll be all right, but, always be cautious.
Yeah.
Dash nods silently in agreement, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so they left?
Yeah, you're kind of like alone in this conference room. Like, you suspect there's probably like guard droids outside the doors, but they're not in here with you.
Or
So,
cameras.
What's the daring plan? How are we going to escape?
I'm not sure if we're gonna need to escape. They seem pretty chill, but I don't know. There's definitely more going on than what we've seen, but they haven't been hostile towards us. And to be honest with you, I think we're pretty lucky that like how chill they've been, given how things went down.
I mean, they might seem pretty chill, but they're only chill because they're surrounded by murder droids.
No offense.
How
kid.
are we to
no
help
offense
out
to
our
anyone
friends still
present.
on the ship?
I think we should gather more information.
So when we had left, I'd also grabbed some rifles.
Those are not present.
Those are not present. Okay, cool. Never mind.
Yeah, they seem to have acquired those for their own uses.
Okay.
I mean, they were theirs to start with.
Correct.
They know nothing. They know nothing.
Correct.
You can't lie to them and say they were yours. You can challenge them.
No, I'm not gonna do that. What about the second pistol then? Just so that I'm aware.
Where had you gotten the second pistol from?
I did my like barrel roll to grab it and then shoot people with it.
You probably that one is probably returned to you, I think.
Okay.
Because I think you actually grabbed that off like a Janus person.
I don't remember.
Yeah. If you didn't, that one's probably returned to you.
All right, cool. Okay, well that changes what I was gonna do because I was gonna give people guns. All right. Can I do like a perception check? Because I'm so good at those. To see what I can tell from like where we're around, like what's around us, trying to, as Kin said, like get information, like try and see if I can notice anything that could give me an idea of what the next best course of action would be.
Yeah, there's probably like a viewport window, or a couple of them on this conference room to like allow natural light in. So you could like go make a perception check and look around.
Cool.
Sure. Let's see. What are you looking for? Are you looking for anything specific here?
So you mentioned that they were freedom fighters, but how did we come about knowing that?
So, I mean, that's just kind of the attitude that they have.
Okay.
You know right now that you're in a compound out of the city, kind of in the jungle.
Yeah. Okay.
As well, some things that that woman that I can't remember her freaking name, she's given you some like conversations that you've had with her.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of led you to believe that.
All right. So basically, we've had further conversations with her, just like interrogations, questionings, blah blah blah.
Yeah, mostly just that one that we all role played like individually.
Okay.
But
Cool. So I want to get a sense. I want to use perception to try to do. I want to try and do two things. One, I want to get a sense of how is their movement going. Like, do they look like they're well equipped? Do they have ships?
Sure.
From what I've seen lots of droids, but like, are they actually a force to be reckoned with? And secondly, how I'm trying to find the right words. How wary are they of us? Like, how okay are we at this point?
Okay.
Because Jax is still aware that him and Kin messed up a whole bunch of their people.
Yeah, so something that you got last time is they're not really cared about the minions because minions don't matter in this game. But you took a good part in killing that one guy, right?
The Rodian, yeah.
Yeah, the Rodian, whose name was
Start with a J. I think
Brog.
Prague.
Is his name.
Not start with a J, yeah.
Yeah. So you had a big portion. You didn't land the killing blow, which actually saved you from retribution.
I remember telling them, like, he charged at my friend. Like, we held him off, but he was killed by a Janus droid.
Right, exactly. And so I think that there's definitely some room for not specifically like the group overall will be, but like friends of that guy definitely might be like looking for you. So why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check? It's gonna be an average check, and I'm gonna add a black dice because you're in an unfamiliar environment. You're not sure where you are or what exactly you'll be able to see. You're also kind of contained within the room. Cool. Yeah. So you get a couple successes. Take a strain there. But you do get a couple successes.
Wouldn't be Jax without some strain.
Exactly. So for 3 successes, I think that it's safe to say that as you kind of look out through the different viewports and stuff, you can see that you're not even in the outskirts of the city any longer. You're kind of like in the jungle area at this point. And in addition to that, you can see that the ship that you were brought in on, you can see that. You don't see any other ships in the area. You also see that, like, kind of, you're at, like, the back is to, like, a cliff face of this compound that you're in, and it goes deeper, like, back into the cliff area. As far as your second success there for how well equipped are they, first of all, they're using blaster rifles, which are generally restricted items in most places. So it's obvious that they are at least well equipped. But they certainly don't look like if the Corellian, government ever found this place, they'd probably easily be able to overrun it. There is a disproportionate amount of droids to living beings in this place.
Cool. I'm gonna turn around to the group. I'm gonna say, they're not the worst equipped outfit I've ever come across. They have a lot of droids. Wasn't that guy you were helping, Xian? Wasn't he a mechanic?
He was indeed.
Maybe he can help me.
Wait,
Yeah.
why can't I help you?
Maybe he has more equipment for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you also know, and Mouse, you didn't really like. It's probably appropriate that you didn't really pick up on this because you wouldn't have. This mechanic, his name is Jarrell. He has some sort of influence with droids. He was able to like basically scan kin at a distance and get some rudimentary information from it without the use of any mechanical ability. So he has some sort of affinity specifically for droids. Maybe not anything else, but specifically for droids, certainly. Cool.
I don't think I was there when he did that, so...
Yeah, you were busy probably trying to repair Kin's face. Because it was falling off, literally. So I think that as you're kind of like scoping around and just waiting for the next thing to happen, the woman comes in. And I keep calling her the woman because, first of all, I forgot her name, but I actually don't think I ever gave you her name, to be fair.
No, I think she was a Weequay, wasn't she?
She is a Weequay, yes. Yeah, she is a Weequay. But I actually think she specifically didn't give you her name.
Yeah, I asked that last time. I even checked back on the stream. She didn't say a name.
Yeah. So, her name is... Let me find out my notes here real quick.
Looking back, I don't think it would have made a difference, but I could have made a Force-sensitive Starfighter pilot. I mean, it's kind of like the same as my career, but it's just I have the Force on my side.
Yeah, so her name is Henkar. And I think you find that out right in this moment where she enters in and she doesn't have like droids in tow like the other visitor you received, but you've all had like your individual conversations with this woman. And she kind of like walks in and sees like the group of you, like Dash is sitting down and the rest of you are kind of standing and pacing or doing whatever you're doing.
I'm playing with the holo projector.
Right, yeah, maybe you're like cycling through the holo projector images or whatever.
No, I'm actually just playing with the wiring.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, so she takes in the whole room, and she says to you, she's like, "Won't you be seated? There is things we must discuss."
I guess.
Yeah, she kind of gives you like a polite smile.
I take a seat.
Yeah, and
Kin will remain standing.
I put the casing back onto the holo projector and I take a seat.
Right, of course. So she sits down kind of like at the like across from where the group of you are, like with her back towards the door so she can kind of see everybody, and she pulls out like a data stick and she like plugs it into like the part of her table, and we see that like the image in the holoprojector like kind of flickers, and then it pulls up an image of the city of Coronet, right, the capital of Corellia, where you guys were at just briefly. And as she pulls that up, she says, "Now, I know that you all must be very confused about what's going on. It's perfectly acceptable, given the circumstances, and you must understand that it was for our own safety we detained you, and I apologize for any inconvenience that may have caused. Now, based on our investigation, what happened, it seems that while the group of you was involved and, well, fighting for the other side, it seems that that was a fault of only a few of you. You seem to be caught in the crossfire, as it were. Now, the organization has not decided to hand out any undue punishment. We are not the jury or executioners of you. But I would suggest that you perhaps consider what I am about to offer wisely." She kind of like lets it hang there for a moment. She says, "It is clear that you all are working based on my conversations with you on clearing your friend's name. Isn't that true, Dash?"
So, Dash, after hearing this, he just shrugs and he says, "I guess."
Well,
I
seems
like
yeah, she's like, she nods and she's very well. She says, "Very well. Seeing as how we are the cause of this undue strain upon yourselves, we would like to help with this. But in order to do so, we think that a mutual agreement of assistance is in order. Now,
Like a contract?
perhaps something a bit less formal. We know that you are not working directly for Janus, that much is clear, seeing as they also attempted to detain you. But we also realize that you are at odds with what they are doing and trying to solve their problem. She kind of, again, like, evaluates the room, sees if anybody's going to say anything to that. She kind of clears her throat and she goes, "You must know, Lucia Janus is, well, a conniving, dirty," and like she kind of like drops into this lower, like, kind of harsher tone. And then she collects herself and she says, "She is a woman of, well, much power. And while we are not looking to obtain that power for ourselves, we are looking for, let's say, some breathing room. Currently, we have some negotiating parameters that need to be worked out still. But we are hoping that a peaceful solution between us and the Janus Corporation can be reached."
So after Dash listened and kind of like hoping that she would at least understand that we're not really connected with any politics, and I guess even before anyone says anything, he just speaks up and says, "Listen, lady, I understand that you have your politics with power and all that, and I understand being from Korea, but listen, we're neither for or against you or Janus. We have our own problems. You just dragging us in is just a wild card that's probably going to backfire here on you or Janus, so I don't think it's a good idea to involve us. I mean, play with the cards you know."
I'm gonna put my hand on Endless's shoulder. Dash's shoulder, and say, my friend isn't my friend, while a bit forward, isn't altogether wrong. We apologize for getting involved in a situation that we didn't fully understand, and for any transgressions that may have taken place during that. But the fact still remains that your friend attacked my friend, and we were there trying to help another friend who you got involved in a kidnapping. So you're not making a very good case for why we would want to just jump up and help you.
I think she kind of, like, she gives you a smile and nods, and she says, "Yes, certainly there have been, well, you call them transgressions on both sides, but I think that what is important here is that we are offering a helping hand. You wish to solve this mess with your friend? Yes, we regretfully did use him as a fall man, but you see, if our plans go as we want them to, there will be no more animosity between Janus and him, or Janus and us."
And Dash speaks up. "From what I know, he doesn't have a problem with you, just with Janus."
"Yes, indeed. And we have a problem with Janus, therefore I believe they say, or at least the humans have a saying, that the enemy of my enemy is my friend."
Well, that may be true, but my friend said that he's kind of in trouble because both of you kind of like put him in this rock and hard place.
Jax is gonna look up and say, "What do you have in mind?"
"Well, you see, we need someone who can operate, well, let's say, without flying our flag. Most of our members are well known to the Janus Corporation, and they would, well, be found much too quickly for the, well, events that we have planned. We need a group, or a couple of you at least, if you're willing to do it, of course, and help your friend out, clear his name, and help us gather peace with Janus.
It sounds like what you're offering would put us at odds. Janus.
No, certainly not at all. Janus also requires some third party. Well, they may not know they require it, but they do.
What exactly do you want us to do?
Simply deliver a message.
What would that message be?
That we are willing to negotiate. You would be acting as ambassadors. A neutral party. The last thing we want is more bloodshed. I think that we can all agree on that. And kind of looks side to side and gets to Zian as well when she says that, and kind of rests her eyes a little bit longer on you.
More bloodshed, like carpet bombing a group?
If you'll recall, that consisted of droids.
No.
And two
There
aqua.
were definitely living beings there.
Yeah, I think she just smiles at you and says, very well, I can see that there is a distaste for certain methodologies within this group. I think that perhaps you are not the ones we are looking for. And she goes to stand up from the table.
I'll say, give us a chance to discuss this, and let's talk again later.
Very well. If you wish to leave, please speak with one of the droids outside. They can escort you to a transport. And she just coldly kind of gets up and walks away. And leaves outside of the door.
As she leaves, I'm going to say, they're not going to let us leave. The second we say that, those droids are just going to paralyze us far back in ourselves. I don't trust them. Or should I have done a perception check to make that assumption?
You can make whatever assumption you want, man.
Okay.
They've given us quite a lot of leeway just to try and ask us to deliver a message. I think if they wanted to do us harm, they probably would have by now. We've been more at their mercy.
I do believe they have a bit of a warped sense of justice, however. So I would not put anything past them.
Would this be the best chance we have to clear RK's name?
Well, if we don't remember, Janus does now have a record after trying to detain us, so what's the then chance that they'll just search us up on their little database and say,
did you give them your name?
Did you give them your name?
Nope.
If they review the videos from the attack, they will see that we helped them.
Yeah, name or not, they'll still recognize us by clothes and all.
Who would recognize us? Everyone who was at that fight got killed in the attack.